Scooby-Doo could use a stellar, long-running comic book, and here's my pitch for it. Awesome, thank you. Now shut up before I get a nasty copyright claim. Scooby-Doo freaking rules, bros. Like, no, you don't understand. I love this dumb, cowardly, beautiful mutt and a generic white bread gang of friends. Quite literally, as far as I can remember, this dog has been in my life. Is that sad? Probably, but I don't care. No cartoon mutt means as much to me as this one. And it's because of my love for this mutt that we're bringing him to the pages of a comic book. And I won't lie to you, my friends. So far, this has been the hardest series to nail down. Scooby-Doo has been so many things over the years that it can practically be anything tomorrow. From what I consider to be the first real push to do something new, Zombie Island, to his modern beats like Scoob. I also got some ideas from the other comic book of Scooby-Doo, Scooby Apocalypse Doo. When watching Mystery Incorporated, there's one storyline that's always bugged me even as a kid. The whole cosmic horror of ultimate evil stuff. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the way Mystery Incorporated went from this dramatic yet eccentric show of these teenagers solving deeply personal and interesting mysteries to, fighting Satan himself. Now there are a lot of reasons why I don't like that, but that's a whole other video on its own. For our purposes today, I'd like to take our take on Scooby-Doo and firmly cement him in the world of the uncanny. If you wonder what I mean by that, a wonderful YouTuber by the name of NerdSync has an entire video explaining this and many more concepts and how they relate to Scooby-Doo. It's a fantastic video from a much better content creator.
Come along, it's mystery time. You can help us solve the crime.
Here's the clip notes in case you don't feel like watching a banger video. Which, you know, your loss. When I say uncanny, I mean that the story will stray away from anything overtly supernatural. This will be a point of contention for a lot of people, as Scooby-Doo is normally at its best when the monsters are real. Like, there's a reason advertisements say, "This time, the monsters are real!" The appeal is there, the story potential is there, but it's been done in nearly every serialized version of the characters. There's no shortage of it, and for as long as the series keeps going, there won't be any shortage either. So for this one, to help us really stand out, I'd like for our world to remain somewhat grounded. We're about as grounded as one could ever get with a talking dog. I want to keep the emphasis on mysteries of all kinds, and what they say about people. These days, a lot of Scooby-Doo mysteries like to simplify crooks and their motivations. Some people just really want money. Some want revenge. And a lot of this works, especially for 22-minute cartoon episodes. For our long-running serialized comic, I feel like we can dedicate more time to these mysteries. Entire arcs if I feel like the concept or mystery deserves it. It's a tricky thing to nail down, a delicate balance that would take a lot of pre-planning and outlining to do properly. Like, a lot of it. With Ben 10 and Power Rangers, there's a lot more wiggle room for how I could go about writing the plot. Ideas can come, go, and be workshopped a lot easier without affecting everything. For Scooby-Doo, particularly when it comes to the mysteries, I don't have that same level of freedom. That's how important it is to try and consistently come up with solid narratives and characters here. I have a few ideas already, but I haven't taken the time to sit down and seriously plan them out yet. Now what I've really been thinking about is the mystery gang itself. Cause like, of course I have. Duh. What kind of Scooby-Doo comic would it be without the gang and their interpersonal relationships? We got the titular character of Scooby-Doo, his best and most loyal friend Shaggy, the honest, cool-headed Velma, the passionate, eccentric Daphne, and the ever-admirable leader, Fred. I'll be going over these doofuses individually, but before that, I want to make a few things clear about these versions of the characters. For one, we'll be starting at a point where they're already friends. Not quite the mystery solvers we know, but they are a friend group, a pretty tight one at that. Secondly, I want them to be young adults, in their early 20s, floating around the idea of college and finding proper jobs. And with those 2 points out of the way, let's get started with the main man himself, Scooby-Doo. So, Scooby-Doo's going to be a normal dog for a little bit. See, this world is a bit less cartoony, so it'd be a little bit weird to just have a random talking dog. I mean, I could do it, it's a comic book, but I kind of want to take this and put it in a bit more of a serious world, so for the first bit, he will remain ruff, 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 that kind of dog. Until we get to the crazy comic book shenanigans later. So until we get to that point, how do I justify calling the comic Scooby-Doo? Well, I mean, he's still man's best friend. You'd be surprised how much character and emotion we can give to an animal, without them needing to talk. Subtle gestures and actions, as well as some bombastic saves from the monster in the story. He's not just Shaggy's best friend, he's everyone's best friend. Scooby is not a complicated thinker. And it's that simplicity that helps the gang when they find themselves overcomplicating their lives and their decisions. So before I get hit with another fan, Shaggy! Now listen, Shaggy has never been a complicated character. He's had depth and he's been terrifically fleshed out in the past, but he's pretty much always been who he is. A cowardly, if kind-hearted friend. Of course, you will see a lot of the Shaggy we know and love here. The food connoisseur who always has an unexpected trick or two up his sleeve, and the best runner you ever did see. However, on the character level, I want to tackle Shaggy from a very specific angle. Shaggy is the college dropout who's working 2 minimum wage jobs to pay his fair share of rent. Out of all the gang, he's the one who's on the fast track to failure. He has a strained relationship with his parents and is always anxious for one reason or another. Hanging with his friends and solving these mysteries, while horrifying, are also the best parts of his life. He will have actual anxiety attacks throughout the series. Like, actually, is the reason he has Scooby with him all the time. He needs him, very literally. And through the series, I hope to show Shaggy's growth to become not just a more confident man, but a happier one. I want to explore his anxieties and fears, as well as how he'll overcome them. Not just so he becomes a better friend, but also because he wants to be better himself. Also, he'll have the most Peter Parker bullshit love life imaginable. It's so freaking fun and very heartbreaking. Speaking of heartbreakers, Velma. Ahem, no beating around the bush. Velma is gay as sin. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Hot dog water? You will be avenged! Or reintroduced. Don't know, haven't decided on that part. But to talk about Velma outside of her sexuality, she's the direct foil to Shaggy. An honor student who's privileged enough to get into any college she wants with a decent part-time internship at a prestigious institution. She's not rolling in money or anything, but she gets along just fine with what she has. However, that doesn't mean she isn't dealing with shit either. Of course, Velma deals with high expectations from her family and peers. She's the smart one, so she always has to act like it. She also has to fight for time to pursue her real passions in life, which are creative arts. However, since those creative fields aren't as respected or profitable, she's pressured to step away from them. But to be clear, this isn't a simple, oh, woe is me, I can't pursue my passions, because she's also still in love with her scientific career. So there's a legitimate conflict, and she'll eventually have to make the choice for herself. And it may not be the obvious one. Like how I'm not making any of the obvious choices for Daphne. Look, I love Peppy Daphne. I love high school cheerleader, sometimes badass Daphne. She's awesome. But my interpretation is making her the biggest girl failure you've ever seen. Sure, she's pretty and popular from a well-off family, but she is always in situations. Life hates her and she just does not know why. It's funny as it is genuinely sad. If Shaggy's life sucks because of his personal decisions in life, Daphne's life sucks because God looked down from heaven and decided, you know, this'll be pretty funny. And he's right. It is. The best part though, she's absolutely okay with it. She is the ultimate optimist. Nothing gets her down and it certainly doesn't stop her from living life. Even if it arguably should. Also, as I'm writing this, I realized that I'm cranking the danger-prone Daphne trope to 1,000,000. That's funny to me. I did that entirely unintentionally. This also isn't a gimmick either. I ain't pulling Milo Murphy shenanigans here. Daphne is not naive or unaware of the things that are constantly happening to her. She's perfectly aware. And despite this, she smiles. She laughs. She dedicates herself to making everyone else's day better, even when her days aren't. She's a light bulb in everyone's life. Like Fred's! But before I get to them, I'm unsure if I'll tackle their established relationship. Like, yes, it's iconic, but it's also safe. But I guess there's a reason for that. They're just great together. So, we'll see where things go. So Fred, what can we do with Freddy here? We have depressed Shaggy, stressed Velma, and girl-frail Daphne. So what can we do to Fred? Batman. Boom! If he was a golden retriever. Double boom! So Fred here has trauma. He's never in a good mental space. He's obsessed with solving mysteries and catching bad guys, no matter what. Fred is the catalyst of the gang. He's the glue. He's the head honcho for a damn good reason. When all else fails, Fred doesn't. He can't. Did I say Batman? My bad, I meant Superman. That's right, he uses his past experiences and persists forward with a smile on his face. He's the damn nicest guy you've ever met in your life. A dude bro who's always there. I would go the himbo route, but for this version, he's a hunk. He's kind and beefy, but there's an intelligence there. He's smart enough to be consciously kind, because to him, it's human nature. Fred sees a cat in a tree, and he helps, because he's just that kind of a guy. An altruistic idealist. But the weight of the world hangs on his neck like a noose. Or at least he thinks it does. See, Fred has issues. Responsibility issues. If something goes wrong, it's his fault. It's always his fault. Even when things have nothing to do with him. He'll rationalize it as his fault and why he's not cut out to be the gang's leader. So overall, here's what I'm going for with the gang. The tie that binds. The overarching theme. They aren't where they want to be in life. None of them are. Whether for their own personal failings or because the world simply won't let them. And their only meaning of escape is with each other. Solving mysteries, catching bad guys, having fun away from the stress of life. Doing good, making the world a better place. They can't help themselves, but they can help each other. They can help each other. Without the gang, Scooby is a stray. A hound that'll be left on the streets, abandoned to the whims of the cruel world. Without the gang, Shaggy is stuck on an ever downward spiral to the gutter of society. Without the gang, Velma is forever in a joyless life, all work with no time for herself. Without the gang, Daphne is the world's undeserving punching bag with no reprieve. Without the gang, Fred is a ticking time bomb of a human being, always waiting for that last straw to snap and go off the deep end. They don't just need each other to make life bearable, they need each other to survive. The Mystery Gang is their ultimate and final support system. Without it, they all crumble. So these people, these deeply hurt people, will do anything to keep each other. Sometimes it'll be healthy, other times it'll be toxic. 'Cause they're young adults, still new to the world. There's a lot about life, about having friends, that they don't quite understand. So they stumble, they make mistakes. But in the end, they'll be there for each other. And more than anyone else in their lives, they understand what each other is going through. And through heaven and hell, they will do everything in their power to set things right. 'Cause they're friends. 'Cause they're family. This isn't my most fleshed out idea outside of the gang itself. Those characters and their personal stories I've been thinking about the most. Yet the overarching plot is something yet to be conceived. Most I have at the moment are fun, mini-plots, and potential mysteries. Nothing too concrete yet. However, there is one other thing I've given considerable thought to, and that's my preferred art style for the book. In the last two videos, I made a very big deal about needing someone who could do fantastic action set pieces, who understands the flow of fighting from panel to panel. This time, I'm going to go a little different. Instead of actions and thrills, I need a master of suspense. Someone who knows how to insert atmosphere into their layouts. An artist that can lead your eyes with ease from panel to panel, with each new image making your heart beat just that much faster. Now, all of this, all of the writing choices, all of the artistic directions I wish to go in, it's all in service of giving these characters a serious and dramatic story to thrive in. But I don't want to gaslight y'all into thinking that's all it's going to be here. For Pete's sake, it's Scooby-Doo! He's a talking dog! Some people unironically think dressing up as monsters will make their stock prices go up. It's inherently goofy, and a lot of that goof needs to be embraced with open arms. Take it in stride! Of course I can poke at it for fun every now and then, but for the most part everything will be played with sincerity. Because Scooby-Doo, at its best, has always been about sincerity. So go ahead, my friends. Hit the like button. comment down below, share the video around, and let's talk some more about the Scooby-Doo comic everyone can enjoy.